Hey, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Welcome to the DIY Paint Network. I'm Lisa Boone with Lisa Boone Designs, and today we're making coffee bar signs. So I'm in the middle of a project, and I didn't want to show it yet. So I have to finish it up, but I didn't want to do it live. I want to do a big reveal on this project that I'm working on, and I needed to make some coffee bar signs. And so I am in the process of cutting vinyl. Hopefully it'll all get cut here soon, but I've already started. And so what I'm doing is I am taking some cabinet doors. I've showed this before, how I take cabinet doors and I make signs, I make trays, sometimes decoupage, sometimes with vinyl lettering, or sometimes I paint them. I just change them all up, make them all different. And so I want to encourage you guys, if you see cabinet doors or if you're remodeling your house, use your cabinet doors. And this one, look at it, it's perfect. It looks like a frame. And so they're perfect to use. And depending on the cabinet door will depend on how I make it over. So good morning and welcome. Hey Rachel. Thank you guys for joining me today and watching, for your hearts, for your likes in advance, your shares, all of that good stuff. So what I did is I made a quick stencil, and I have shown this before, and I have shown how to cut it and weed it and transfer it. And so I'll do this small one, and then I have this sorry, she's upset because we're in here and she's outside, but I don't want her to come in. She's barking like crazy. So I have this. It must have been some kind of a poster. I don't know what it was. But I have two of these. And so what I want to do, and this is where I ran out of time this morning. I cut this vinyl, and I'm actually going to... Hey, Pat. Hey, Joni. So I cut this vinyl, and I'm going to cut it up, and I wish you could see it. Now listen, when you're using vinyl as a stencil, it doesn't matter what color you use. And so I just use the colors that I'm just using them up, that I have, that I know I will never use for lettering. But I don't know if you can see this, but they're coffee cups. It's going to be a menu. And so on the top, it's going to say coffee bar. Did I put coffee bar? I've changed this design so many times, and that's what took me so long, and that's why it's not finished cut. I think it just cut. And then I have like know your coffee. Go ahead and pull it off. You know how to pull it off, the Cricut? Just hit that little arrow. And then so it's gonna say coffee bar, know your coffee. And then let me see if you can see this, because this is like super, super cute. And we're gonna make, can you see the coffee mug? And there's different types of coffee. So I'm gonna paint this to make it look like a chalkboard and put that big one on there. But first, we're gonna start with this one. So here's something you don't often hear me say. I'm not gonna paint the frame because I like the wood. I always want to paint everything, right? So what I want to do is I kind of want to go with the theme too, with the chalkboard style. So I'm going to paint this in Old School. Old School is a charcoal color by DIY Paint. It is the perfect chalkboard color. I use it a lot when I make chalkboards or like little signs. And it's great because it's not so dark black, and it's just a great color. But of course with DIY Paint, it's clay based and it has chalk in it. And you can actually make any color chalkboard. It does not have to be black or Old School. So look at how gorgeous it is. And when you first open it up, it's so thick and so rich. And so what I want to do first, and I also pulled out, in case we have time, because you know I'm overly ambitious. I think I can do all the things in one sitting. But I also have some decoupage papers, and I have another cabinet door. See, this is what all the cabinet doors, they're so different. I have a stack right here that I was trying to go through that are more ornate, and then you have some that are really nice and flat, and these make great trays. they also make great signs. So I've got 2 decoupage papers that actually say coffee on there. This one says roasted ground coffee spices, so I thought I could cut that up and maybe put that in there and change it up a little bit. Or I've got this, I don't have a lot of room. I've got this decoupage paper, and I sell these decoupage papers on my website. And I thought about cutting up the top and placing it on here and not painting it, just decoupaging right on. So I might do that in between while I'm waiting for paint to dry, just to show you that you don't have to paint to decoupage. Now, if you follow me on YouTube, I did a video where I decoupaged a paper. I'm just going to scoot this over and I'm going to start painting. I decoupaged a paper right onto a school desk, and then I also did it on the back of the chair and on the seat of the chair, but those I did paint. And so there's so much flexibility. If you want it to recede and you want it to like dull down, you could paint it a darker color, or you can paint it white to make it more vibrant, or you could decoupage right on wood. So I'm just spritzing my brush. Just realized my daughter left. I need to angle you down. Let me angle you down a little bit. Okay. So we're just gonna paint it right on here. And I'm gonna try. I hate taping. Y'all, yesterday, it makes me appreciate DIY so much, because yesterday I had to paint a door, an outside door, and with latex paint, and I was hating life, like hating life. I hate latex paint. And then the brushes I was using, I was like, oh my gosh, I so love my DIY paint and my brushes, and I hate painting in latex. Like, it's just terrible. And then, you know, you get it everywhere, and it's not so easy clean up like DIY paint is. I can just grab a little baby wipe and go. But it just makes me appreciate it so much more. But right before I went live, I realized I have black paint still all over me, because it was like splattering all over me, and it was I didn't get it all off, and I was like, oh my gosh. I'm gonna go live in just a second. There's nothing I can do because it just wasn't coming off. But I have to go back today and do some touch-ups, so there's no point in cleaning it all up because I'm about to get dirty again. But I certainly do love how easy it is to clean this up. Okay, perfect. So, okay, so see, I did this other one in pink. This one is in blue. It doesn't matter because I'm going to use them as a stencil. And I'm going to show you. It's going to look super, super cute. And I think that board that I'm recycling is a perfect menu. I don't know what it was intended for or where it came from, but I'm excited. So I'm just trying to cut in with my what do you call this? Brush. And the reason I was thinking about yesterday is because I had to tape it's, you know, outside doors. They were not even inside doors. So I had to tape the glass. And when I use DIY paint, I don't tape the glass most of the time. I just go for it, and then I just grab this little tool. Let me show them the tool, because I'm actually going to take this with me today. As soon as I leave here, we're heading over there to paint it for a client. So I use this tool to scrape my doors, like to scrape the glass, and whenever I paint, and it's just easy cleanup. And then you could also use cleaner or microfiber cloth or baby wipes as well. But I had to tape, and then when I took the tape off, half of the paint came off, and I had to touch up the window, and that's how I got paint on it. And I'm like, can you please just give me my DIY paint, because it's so much easier to work with. And it goes on so much better. If I was having trouble getting that paint to stick. Don't you feel that way if you've used DIY paint for a while? and then you go to paint a house or something, you're like, oh wow, what a difference. It really does make a difference. DIY paint is more of an artisan paint, and I'm just going every which way because I'm not trying to do anything perfect or clean. I want it to look a little bit more rustic because since I'm leaving the wood. And I think, I'm going to look at it, but I think I'm only going to do one coat. What's great about our darker colors, and certain colors more so than others, is that you really can get one coat coverage. Now, if I was going to make this an actual chalkboard, I would do a couple of coats on it just to make sure that you were going to have a good chalkboard that was going to last. So see, and that looks really pretty with the wood, doesn't it? And so this is old school that I'm using, and I didn't water it down, but I did water my brush up a little bit because I wanted to get it nice and smooth. And so, and that frame was really easy to do because this is raw wood, and so the paint just goes in there and soaks it up so great. So now I'm going to go ahead and get my stencil. Now, whenever I make a stencil, I like to cut, I put paint all over that. I like to cut a square or a shape so that I can easily cut it. And I could not, for the life of me, find my, I'm going to show you what I'm using as a weeder. I bought these for my workshops, and they're great. It's a set of dental tools. And instead of buying like 15 weeding tools, so can you see that? And so what I like to do is I go ahead, let me see, and I cut like a bounding box so that I can try to get it evenly placed. And what I did was I measured the inside where that gray part was, and then I created the box in my software, and then I created my fonts. I actually did it in Photoshop, and then I brought it in. So I'm going to weed out the lettering. Now this one isn't so sharp. There's one that's sharper, and I don't know which one it is. But it really does work really good. Maybe it's... Joy said hello. Joy said hello. Are you saying in there because of the dogs? Yeah. Okay, so my daughter's in there, but she's trying to help me with the comments. Joni said something. All right, so this one's a little bit sharper.
I don't know what that word is. Almost a year and haven't had it out of the box.
She had a what? A silhouette?
Yeah.
You haven't taken it out of the box? Girl, take it out of the box. I don't know the silhouette. I've watched some tutorials on it because, you know, trying to figure out like which one I was gonna like better. I ended up with the Cricut because I actually bought it on Marketplace, and I wanted to see if I was gonna like it, and I'd wanted one for so long. I'd really watched the Cricut a lot longer, and it's so easy to use. I love it, and I can make my own signs. Of course, I use the stamps from IOD, but sometimes you just want a different font. And so all I'm doing is I'm carefully weeding, and I'm making sure that all of my inside letters stay. That's the trick to making sure.
I've never seen this. Interesting.
Oh, awesome. You've never seen this. Okay. Well, I can make you a vinyl stencil if you're interested. You just can contact me and let me know, and I can ship it to you. But this is what you could do if you had your own. You can weed it yourself. Now, when I sell them, I weed it for you, and then I put it on the transfer. And so we're going to take this vinyl, and it's great to do it on an angle. And just like I said, make sure that you have all of your inside letters.
Debbie said sweet.
Thank you, Debbie. Yeah, this is so much fun. I actually love weeding. It's better when you have light right in front of you because you need to be able to see your cuts and be able to see what you're weeding. Make sure you get those little letters, especially when it's a script font, So it usually will go, if you have your blade is nice and sharp, it'll go pretty quickly. But can you see, Ari, can you see how the insides of the letters are staying on here? And that's what I want. And so I'm going to, a lot of times I use my nails and I try to get it in there. But going at an angle really does help. And going slow. Because there's sometimes when I go really, really fast and I'm like, oh no, I missed a part. I did a part of the letter and I'm going to have to cut it all over again. I think there's nothing in there. Sometimes the R's have a little piece and sometimes they don't. Every letter is different. It depends on the font that you're using. But if you have an I, you want to make sure you get your little eyes, your dots and all that. So then I like mixing my fonts. So I did a standard like serif type font for the bottom. So this sign is going to say the coffee bar, grab, let me see, what did I say? Grab a mug, fill her up, enjoy. And so that's what's going in here. And this does play with my eyes a little bit, so I meant to grab my glasses and I forgot them.
Where are they?
In my purse. All right, and if your letters move a little bit like the inside, all you have to do is just kind of wiggle it. It's on this waxy paper, and you can get them to move around a little bit if you need to. And I chose a font that it's thin, so one side is thinner than the other, and I just usually, I did this on my dining room table and I just piled up the vinyl. I've seen some people put them on their back of their hand, and sometimes they have something that they can put. Oh, thank you. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's so much better. It's amazing what light and sight can do. All right, and I'm going to show you, and then I put these little dots in between the words. Yeah, I can go a lot faster when I can see. And then what we're going to do is then take a transfer paper. It's a clear plastic. They have a white paper type. I like the clear because it lets me really see my design. And so when I'm placing it, I'm not going to place it in the wrong spot. I also use clear contact paper like for myself. But I have a nice transfer paper that I use for customers or for workshops because you could see very well. It's easy to take off. Some transfer sheet paper, I have one roll that is really, really sticky. And sometimes, you know, you have to fight with it a little bit to release your stencil or your vinyl lettering. And I use that one for myself sometimes too. But I try to make it easy for customers and people that go to the workshops so that you're not fighting with it. But this is what it says. Okay. Oh, I forgot to flip it. So see, now that becomes a stencil. Had I done the reverse and taken all of this off and left my lettering, then it would be a decal. So it's the same difference. So what I'm going to do is I've got this, and what I like about this one, especially like I said for customers, is the easy release, but it is also, and if you're interested, I can let you know what it is. I can't remember off the top of my head. I'd have to look. It has grid lines on it. So I think what I want to do is cut some of this off. I just stabbed myself. These are really sharp scissors. Yep, I'm bleeding. I know. It's just that kind of day. It's all right. So I'm just going to cut this backer paper. And you can actually reuse these. I have, and I do for myself. I save them and I reuse it. But what I'm going to do is take this off. And what I like to do is just put it down on here. And there's all kinds of ways that you can do this, but when I'm using this one, I just put it right on. If I'm cutting a piece of paper, then I fold it in half, get it in the center, and then go out. So because those are usually really difficult to work with and they stick so quickly. I'm going to get this down, and I just cut it right off of the roll, and I just try to follow the grid line as best, the line. I didn't do that well, but so now I would cut this up and sell this as a stencil, and it's a one-time use. And so what you want to do is, I have a little stick, but I don't know where it is, so I've been using my Iron Orchid Design sticks, and so I just go like this all over. I make sure that it's sticking on here, and this is what you would do if you had a stencil like this. And then it's thank you, Kathy. And it's a great idea to go on the back as well, because all of those little letters, they stick. They like to stay on the board sometimes. Oh, I'm just rubbing my eyes like I don't have makeup on. And so you want to make sure you get it on. So I'm going to show you how to release that here in a second. I'm still waiting on this to dry. It's been so humid here in Kentucky, and everything is taking so long to paint, and it's been really frustrating. I'm going to cut these because I want you to see what that's going to look like. That's going to be so, so cute. So I think what I'm going to do for my decoupage sign is I'm probably going to paint the frame, but I'm going to decoupage the inside, this part, and it's dirty. I didn't clean it. I need a washcloth, baby. I'm sorry. Or microfiber. Okay, so while she's doing that, so this is a 20 by 30 sheet, 18-pound paper. Oh, thank you. I'm just going to clean it with water. And these microfiber cloths, they have little nubs and probably hair. But they have little nubs. They're great to clean with. It's what I clean all of my furniture and dog messes with. And they work really great. They also work great for cleaning glass because they really, really scrub. And so you only have to use a little bit of water, and sometimes not even, depending. But they dust really well, and so these are what I use. I buy them on Amazon in bulk, and I just keep them rolled up all the time. I'm washing those microfiber cloths probably on the daily, if not every other day. All right, so I want to see how much room I have on the inside. I think I'm going to have to separate coffee bean for sure. So I'm just going to, you know how normally I cut it with my brush, but I'm just going to cut it, and I'm going to try to get it in there. So I'm just going to cut out coffee. I'm going to go ahead and do coffee bean. Alright. And then I'm probably going to do like another word if I can fit it. But this has just a lot of words. It says clean, Arizona, cactus, crop, span, 2015, 20. I might try to do... Ooh, I know what I want to do. Alright, and then it's product of 150 pounds net. So you could use this in its entirety, or you can cut it up like I did. So I'm going to separate, and it's on like a textured fabric. That's what it's made to look like. And I didn't cut this straight at all, but I'm going to play with that. And so I was thinking about, I wonder if I can do this. Okay. No, it's too big. I was going to cut out the 20 and the 1 and make 21, but I can't. So I'm going to, actually I think I want product of, oh maybe, let me look at this one. Yep, I know what I'm going to cut up. I'm going to try to go on the line. We'll see how good I can do. I'm going to combine these two papers together. And I cut that all kinds of wonky. The lines are like playing with my eyes. That's okay. All right. I'm going to see what this looks like. I'm going to go ahead and kind of eyeball the center. So I wasn't going to paint this, and I didn't want to paint this, but I really think I should. I think what I'll do is okay, I'm going to score. Whenever I want a specific size, I score it. Guys, we're going this is like on the fly. On the fly. I'm going to go a little bit outside of my line, because what I like to do is then I'll take a blade and I'll cut off the excess. I only want to get my decoupage medium on the bottom, and so I'll be able to take I like to take a metal ruler or something sharp, and then I'll just use my blade and I'll cut it. And so I'm just going to show you how we're going to go ahead and just decoupage this right on. I thought I got this open earlier. You can put it under hot water. I had an old one the other day, and I put it right under hot water, and it came right up. I'm sorry to bang this. Oh, there we go. All right. So, I don't know if you've heard, but we are very, very low on liquid patina. And DIY paint, they don't have any right now. They can't make any. So, liquid patina is hard to find. But you can decoupage with Big Top. But here's the thing. When you decoupage with Big Top, you don't put it all over your whole project. Oh, are you going to kill me? I need a plastic.
Plastic what?
To do my decoupage. I think I have one over there. You know what I'm talking about? To rub it.
Plastic bag?
Saran wrap or a plastic bag or a Ziploc bag. So DIY paint dries very, very fast. And what you want to do is you do it in sections, okay? So I'm going to put this down here. Do you have something? You do it in sections. Now, you shouldn't use your hands because you can rip the paper. And I just need a little bit more decoupage. Medium. I'm just using straight up Big Top. It needs more. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so as we're just waiting on my other side to dry, and so we're just gonna decoupage this. And you just want to move fast. I'm gonna get it in there, and then you use your plastic, and you just rub it until it's smooth. If you see a wrinkle, keep rubbing, and it'll go away. Now, if you missed a spot, all you have to do is pick up the paper and put it on there. So I'm gonna pick up my paper, and I'm gonna work backwards a little bit and back brush. And you just want it even. You don't want it sloppy, gloppy, because then that could mess up. That'll give you bubbles. That could mess up your decoupage. So I just do a little bit at a time, and then I rub it. You could take a Ziploc bag. You could take saran wrap is usually what I have balled up, but I decided to do this at the last minute. And I'm just trying to make, because I've been trying to do things in a collection. And so whenever I do one thing, I'm trying to do more than one. And so I wanted to have a few coffee bar signs or coffee signs. I've made several trays that said but coffee or coffee first, different ones, and I haven't had any in a while. And I don't know about you, but I love me some coffee. And so I'm a big coffee buff. So it's getting gloppy because this is such a slick surface. This is laminate. And so it's not soaking into the wood like it normally would. I wonder if I don't even need to put that. Okay. Oh yeah, I do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this part in half-ish. And I'm going to put this on top of here. And I'm just going to piece it together to make it, give myself a background because I didn't want to paint it. I could have painted it. I was just trying to show you guys that you don't have to paint to decoupage. So I'm just going to get this on here real quick. And you always want to make sure your edges are nice and flat. So I'm just back brushing here, and I'm back brushing onto my paper that I already decoupaged to make sure that it's nice and flat and adhered well. So I'm going to put my little scrap right here. And like I said, just keep pressing down. And that is how you get a flawless, wrinkle-free decoupage. Now, every now and then, something could happen and you'll get wrinkles. And you just have to embrace them. I know a lot of people like, oh my gosh, I can't deal with wrinkles. I can't. Listen, it's texture and it's character. There's nothing wrong with wrinkles at all. You just have to change your mindset. And know that it's okay if you do get any. And here's the thing too. The moment that you apply top coat on top of your paper, it's going to wrinkle again because you've just re-wet the top. So a lot of people ask those, you know, I'm always hearing those questions. Like, I don't know what happened. I did everything right. I ironed it on and I had no wrinkles. And then I put my top coat and I got wrinkles. Yes, that's what's going to happen. And it's okay. When it dries, 9 times out of 10, your paper will flatten out. And if it doesn't, you could take it an iron to it and you could iron it on. Make sure you're using parchment paper or a brown paper sack or something to not scorch the paper and not mess up your iron. I just use my regular iron. And so I'm just going to apply this on here. So I'm top coating my piece. I'm making sure I'm getting all the edges. I'm going all the way around. But then I'm also going to decoupage on top of it. So just to show that you can layer decoupage paper. This could be underneath. This could have been a napkin. And then on the top layer, it could be decoupage paper. You can definitely be very, very creative. You can decoupage gift wrap paper. I've done that many, many times. I think I want a little bit of the grain sack to show. So I'm going to layer this like that. And so I'm just starting at one end. Normally I start in the middle doing this. But as long as you're working the wrinkles out or like, you know, from the center out, if it's a big paper, I usually do that. You just want to get any air pockets out and then you iron. I mean, you're basically ironing with your hand, but you're just smoothing it out so that you won't get any wrinkles. And then a lot of times, honestly, I wait to do my top coat, but you can, and you can go over it right away and just make sure that you cover the whole thing. And this is what's sealing it. I asked the lady one day, sorry, my husband never fails. He calls me.
Can you decoupage material?
Yeah, you can decoupage material, fabric. Yeah, certainly can. So you can decoupage anything, gift wrap paper, like I said, any kind of paper, coaster. You might use different medium for all of it, but you can do it. And especially with papers, you can layer and you can make it your own. So what you want to do at this point is let it dry, but you want to make sure that wrinkles are no big deal, but you don't want air pockets. If you get air pockets, after it's dry, poke it. Huh? Fabric? Yeah, I said fabric. Yeah. Did I answer that? I thought I answered that. So, okay. Yeah, you can decoupage fabric. You would need a thick medium. I've seen even people, you can use a spray adhesive. You could actually use starch. That's an old school method where people would coat the fabric in starch and then put it on their walls as wallpaper, and it becomes removable and it doesn't mess up your thing. Okay, so that's that one. And what I'm gonna do is I will probably, and I may not, looking at it, once this is dry, I'm gonna clean the edges up, cut that off with a straight blade. This is gonna become very durable. I would put another coat of Big Top on top of this if you're gonna be using it as a tray. And I will usually put some handles right here from Hobby Lobby and make it a really pretty decorative piece. And then I always put some silicone little circles on the bottom so that it doesn't sit and mess up a table or a painted surface. So I'm gonna put that here to dry. So that's it. And then, all right, I was trying to avoid not using the heat gun, but we're gonna have to, because it's just, everything is taking so long. I've been painting a piece here in the house, and it took me forever. It took me way longer than what it should have because it just wasn't drying. So I'm just using my heat gun. You can use a hair dryer. It takes a little bit longer, but you can use a hair dryer. Because you want this dry before you put your vinyl on there, because you don't want it to pull up. But if it does, just get a little artist brush and you can easily touch it up. So I never worry about wrinkles. I never worry about stencils bleeding. You can touch it up. So what I want to do first, I'm gonna release this from its backing onto that transfer sheet. And so what you want to do is you want to turn it over, and you want to go in a tight, I guess 45-degree angle. And as soon as you get this is why I like the bounding box on it, because it helps you to get it off. Now, if you're doing this as a decal, then you're just gonna have to go a little bit slow, and you want to make sure you get all of your letters. So you just want to pull away, and it really helps to go in a rocking motion back and forth, and then you press down. I'm sorry, what? I use different kinds, Mary. For myself, I go to the Dollar Tree and I get the clear contact, the magic cover, and I use that a lot. I'll buy online. I'll go ahead and get a case of it, especially when I was doing a lot of signs. But I like this for my workshop classes because it's not as sticky and it's thicker. And it's easy for people to use that have never used something like this before. And then I also have a roll one that it's like this tall, and it's great for small stuff, and it's in a roll. Now that one is really, really sticky. I'd have to look at all of the brand names and get back to you if you really want me to tell you. I can.
I need some decals.
You're always needing something, and stop calling me during my lives. What in the world? You just have like an alarm. Call Lisa Tuesdays at 11 something. So I just make sure I get all my little things down, the little letters, and they kind of just will fall into themselves. This one kind of fell a little bit wonky, I'm going to show you how I'm going to fix it. I'm going to wait. I'm going to show it to you up close, and then I'll do it. And then you're just rolling it. Now, I really didn't probably hit it on the back enough, but if you really go over it well in the back, they usually come right up. But you just get them on there and they stick. They'll stick really well. Now, when I do my big sign with the coffee cups and those little letters, that's going to be interesting. I probably don't need to do that one online. But I think it's going to look so cute. And this, you know, if you're just coming on, I'm going to do a menu, a coffee menu with all the different coffee cups. And it's going to say latte. It gives you the recipe, like first espresso, then water, then foam, or... No, that's an Americano, no foam. And then like...
And all I can think about is talking to you.
Is talking to you? I'm sorry. That's true, you do call me on your lunch hour. But you should know Tuesdays is my live day. I've been doing this for over a year, dude. Speaking of which, I do have a playlist of all of my lives. They're under creative expressions on the DIY paint under videos. So if you wanted to watch other tutorials, because I have done this before and I've done lots of decoupage on there. And then also you can follow me on my YouTube channel and my Facebook. So now here it is. So one of the letters, let me see if I could find it.
He said, I don't know, one day from another.
You don't know one day from another? Okay, so I'm going to show you this up close. Okay, so you see this little letter? It's too close. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift it up. And it just got bent a little bit. And see? And then just lay it back down. I'm going to do that on the table. But I can lay it back down. And then it's like nothing ever happened. I think that's okay. It'll still show, I think. There we go. Okay. So now, what I want to do, and like I said, I try to cut them as close to the size. Sometimes I go like a 1/4 inch or ½ inch in, and if I'm trying to conserve vinyl and for myself, and so I like to make sure I'm standing up, and it doesn't stick unless you start sticking it down. This vinyl is actually permanent vinyl. I use it a lot for my stencils. You're supposed to use 631 repositional, and I will do that for clients. But I can do this fairly easily. So I just want to make sure it's kind of level, and that's what I like about this one with the grid line. If your bounding box is straight, and you've applied this on straight, and I don't think I did. I think I had it kind of wonky, but it does really well. And so now what you want to do is you want to get your vinyl down. It doesn't matter that this is all stuck. It matters that where your stencil needs to be spot on. So I like to take a little tool and just make sure I get it down. And if this is adhered, you usually do not have any bleeding. And if you do have a little bit of bleeding, like I said, all you need is a little brush, an artist brush.
2 minutes.
What? How many minutes?
2.
What? Are you kidding me?
No.
Wow. Okay, so I'm gonna peel. See how this is so easy to peel up? Look, the other stuff that I use, I have to literally hold this down and pull it. But this is gonna be on there for a little bit, you know, it's kind of nice insurance. It really does a great job. And so now what I will do is I can reuse this, and I do often. And so I'll just take the back of my vinyl and I'll just put it on there, and I'll put it a little bit better later. And I'll roll it up and I'll put it on to the side of my desk, and I can reuse that. So I feel like I get a bigger bang for my buck. It makes me feel good. I did my part of conserving, because I'm a shopper. So however you can conserve, right? Do your part and conserve. All right. So what I'm doing now is I'm just going along the edges, and I'm making sure that my letters are very, very flat. Now guys, if you wanted to use this, you could actually, if you wanted to make this as a sign, you could. Like you could totally do this as a sign and have your paint, you know, read through, and you could add some molding, some trimmings, 1 or 2 along the edges to make sure that it stayed down. But if you did it reversed, if you pulled this part out and left the letters, then it would be a decal. You wouldn't have to paint it. So all that I'm gonna do is I have a little bit of beadboard. I know, she's the watch Nazi, the time Nazi. Where's my stencil brush? I had it. I had it. Seriously? No. My stencil. All right. So we're not going to do a stencil. And you know, the proper way, for me to tell you the proper way, you would take a stencil brush and you would take it and you would offload it, right? And then you do the swirly motion or the pounce, pounce, pounce. I don't often do that. I just usually paint it on. And I don't usually have a problem just because I'm using 631. It's permanent vinyl. It's stuck on really well. As long as my edges are good. Now, I'm not going to put it with a whole bunch of paint. You know, I'm going to be cautious. And there are many times where it's a bad day and I'm having to fill in everything. And I'm like, oh, I should have just taken my time, or I should have pounced. But most of the time, I'm trying to get as many signs as I can done. And I'm just trying to get it done. So I try not to go into the vinyl underneath. I try to make sure that I'm covering it just enough. And I'm trying to get, you know, as little paint as possible. But I don't like doing 2 coats. When you do the pounce method, sometimes you have to do 2 coats. And if I have a lot of time, then that's a different story. But sometimes that circular motion actually hurts my hand. And so it's a little bit of laziness and it's a little bit of discomfort.
Anissa asked, is this live on YouTube? I want to share with a friend who does not have Facebook.
Oh, you know what I can do? I have several on my YouTube channel doing vinyl stencils. My YouTube is lisaboondesigns.com, and it's LEESABOONE, just like my name, just like my business name here. But if not, send me a message and I will look it up, and if I have to, I will put this on there. I don't mind to put it on. That my bee was raised. I might have a bleed right there. And that's going to happen. All right, I'm just trying to get this done quickly because I just want you to see it done. And so I had thought originally about putting Dark and Decrepit on this, but y'all, I really like this wood color. And I bought this basket that have the same tones, and I'm using this kind of as a, you know, obviously to sell also, because I said I'm doing collections. But I'm going to be using it as a staging thing. So I just put a little bit of paint, and a little bit goes a long way. Wait, let me see. Let me get this. It's drying. I mean, I'm just trying to fill in my letters. And here's the thing. Here's the other thing that you can do. If it bleeds through, what you can do is take a sanding sponge and distress it and make it look old and rustic. I say this all the time. When I go to Hobby Lobby, I stare at their signs. I look at what's trending and what they're doing, what kind of signs they're making. And a lot of times, it looks like bleed through. They make it look like that intentionally. So now I ripped up the vinyl, and then I'm going to use my same weeding tool. You could use a pin if you don't have a weeding tool, like a safety pin. And I'm going to pick up those inside letters. And I'm just gonna, here's the trick, I just scratched it. Because this is not my weeding tool of choice. What I do is I hit it at an angle, okay? I hit it at an angle right on top, and then I pull it up. I try not to stab it, like, so that I'm creating a hole I don't go at it this way, I go at it to the side. And that's how I'm able to quickly, very, very quickly weed everything and pull it up. Usually without damaging my piece, but I did because, like I said, this is not my, and it did bleed right there where I knew it would, because I saw.
You skipped the A.
Yeah, I'm going back. I saw that I had a hole there. And that's why you want to make sure you work your bubbles out and you really rub it. And a lot of times I will, as I'm stenciling, I'm making sure that I'm getting everything down. So all I'm going to do to fix that is I'm going to take like a little brush, and I'll do that off camera. I want to show you. But I would just take a little brush and I would just cover that up. And it's no biggie. My daughter's going to show it you the sign. So that turned out really cool, right? I like it. Now, here's another thing that you can do. You can take a chalk and you can prime it and then kind of erase it and then seal it, and it'll look like a chalkboard if you wanted that look without it being an actual chalkboard. So, pretty cool, I think.
Debbie said love it.
Thank you. So what I'm going to do off camera is I'm going to do this one just to tell you, pull this up, baby. Sorry. All right. So this, I'm going to take it off. I don't know what this is, like I said, and something happened to it. So I'm not sure what it was meant to be, but it has those little metal things that I can take this board off. And I'm going to paint this board in the same color, old school. I'm going to paint the frame actually in white and distress it.
Linda said looks great.
Thank you. And thank you, Linda. And then I have my, see, this one says coffee menu, know your coffee. And that's going to go on top. And then I've got all of these. I've got actually there's 2 rows on this one. So the rows are about 4 inches. And like this one says espresso. And it shows the coffee mug. And then it has a line and says espresso. So this one is latte macchiato. Steamed milk espresso. Then cappuccino. Milk foam milk espresso. So it gives you like the menu of how to make all of the coffee. Who needs Starbucks, right? We can do that ourselves. Ari went, put the thing up. Ari raised her hands. See, I make Spanish coffee. Mira, it's tilting. I make Spanish coffee. She started calling Siri. I make my espresso. I heat up my milk. We put some syrup, and I make my vanilla latte. I make her a caramel latte. So now we'll be able to do different ones. And so it has all of these. So there's 3 rows.
Laura said hello, everyone from
4
Las
rows.
Vegas.
Hey, from Las Vegas. That's awesome. Thank you. All right, she's like, cut it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and post a picture of all of it because you will see it with my brand new piece that I'm really, really excited. What did he say? Cubano. Yeah. Anyway, I'm turning my husband into a Spanish boy. This is very interesting. So anyway, I'm going to take a picture of it. You're going to see it with my next piece because these are going to be my staging pieces. And I can't wait to show it to you. I'm so excited. It's almost done. And I can't wait to see you guys next Tuesday at 11 Central. 12 noon right here on the DIY Paint Network. If you're looking for a DIY Paint Network, a DIY Paint retailer, go to DIYpaint.co and look for a retailer near you. If you can't find one, go ahead and shop on my website, lisaboondesigns.com. Check out my YouTube channel. I have lots of tutorials on there and also on this page under videos, creative expressions. I hope you guys have an incredibly blessed day. Thank you for watching.